This morning's show is on the Fretz, and it's going to get rocky. What are we talking about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Sparks Toyota on Highway 501 in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the Brook Green Gardens Cool Summer Evenings concert series and the Nights of 1,000 Candles there at Brook Green Gardens. And we're visiting with one of its headline performers, Rocky Fretz. Good morning,
Greg.
Rocky.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming in again.
My pleasure. Thanks
Obviously,
for having me back.
Last time we were at the Herald there on the base, and
Yeah.
now out at Sparks Toyota, moving around.
It's wonderful. I love the concept. I love the concept of get community support, business support, everybody getting together, making stuff happen. That's
Absolutely.
my favorite thing.
And that is exactly how it works. We were at Ripley's Aquarium last week, pumping up the Walk America series for the March of Dimes.
Beautiful.
So great getting in there, and of course early in the morning at 7 o'clock to see all those kids already streaming into the aquarium for all those tours and otherwise. We haven't seen a lot of kids here much of this week, but they're out and about.
Oh, they are. They are. It's the traffic tells it all.
It does. It does.
Even
That's
at 7 in
exactly
the
right.
morning.
Even at 7, you can look out and see this traffic here on 501.
And I got to be honest with you, I don't see much traffic at 7 in the morning often.
Does that mean you're up
I'm a night
early
guy.
in the out in the garden, or
I'm
you're
a nocturnal
staying up late?
musician.
Yeah, is that right? And that's pretty common, I guess, in the music world.
Sure.
You've got
Most of the concerts or gigs are in the evenings,
Right.
and I find that in the quiet of the night is a great time to compose instead of the busyness of the day. And when everything settles down, it's the easiest way to write music and to compose. So I do a lot of that in the evenings.
most of your composing at night.
Yes, I do.
Do you have a place in the house?
I
you
do.
go
I
outside,
have
or-
a little portable kind of studio.
We
with
should
my
have filmed there. Yeah,
and
see
little
the
keyboard. Well, we can do that next time.
Right.
And I'll just sit there and play for hours until something comes out I like.
So you play to. Give viewers a sense of what that's like trying to create music.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. I think it happens different for a lot of different artists, but for me, and I just had this conversation with a producer the other day, it's like I just sit down and begin to fool around just with a chord or something, and I'll just play. And if I hear something I like, I'll just remember that little section. And then I'll do it a little longer, and then pretty soon I have a chord progression or a pretty melody, and just begin to expand on it. Mm-hmm. And then when I get a concept, maybe a verse, chorus, and a bridge, or some little linear representation of the song, I'll let it sit for a little while, and then move on to something else or practice something else. And I can record it right in my keyboard, and so then I'll pull it back up and listen later what I wrote and
See if you
and
feel
expand
good or
on it.
not.
Yeah, see if I still like it,
right.
and if I do, then I'll continue to work on it until it ends up in some more substantive form.
And you find at times when you go to work on something else, in the back of your mind, you're still thinking about.
It is like that. I think sometimes I can get caught up in the particulars of what I think the song ought to be, and I'm more of the song should be telling me what it ought to be. More let it come than intentionally write for a particular purpose. That's a whole different ballgame. Let's say somebody has a commercial they want music for. Well, that's a very specific, we want it to sound like this, we want these kinds of instruments, and we want it to feel this and communicate that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very specific criteria to write a song with.
Right.
But with my original material, just the songs that I record as a composer, it's a totally different, opposite process where I have no end result in mind. I just work my way through it and find out with the rest of us, what it came out to be.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that neat?
That is.
It's an interesting way to create, and I find both of them just pretty much equally as stimulating. Maybe letting it happen is a little more fun for me, but I love to write commercial stuff.
Speaking of that,
products.
I think I just saw at RockyFretz.com there was a little mention of Fear Factor. Fear
yes,
Factor
yes.
had taken a little
That's
piece of
interesting, isn't
one
it?
of your pieces. How did that come about?
I have a friend in California whose business is film and TV placement for music, and he found me on the web and asked me if I'd be interested in pitching anything, and so I just showed him my catalog. If you have anything there you like, you're welcome to use it, and so we licensed. I think it was Standing on the Edge of Tomorrow from my A Better Way CD that made the Fear Factor actually in the credit roll.
Right.
And then the making of Conviction was Walking on Water from my Faith CD was actually in the film, and then in the transition music going to commercial on a Megan Mullally show.
Great.
They used one of my little jazz pieces, and so
Get down.
So I really love
tremendous.
writing. I like film placement. And I think we're going to do a lot more of that over the next couple of years.
That is
I'm working
great.
with a new producer, one of my heroes.
Who's that?
His name is Will Ackerman. I don't know if you're familiar with the Wyndham Hill record label,
I'm
but
not,
it was the
but that's not a
premier
surprise.
acoustic instrumental label for many years through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And Will Ackerman is a Grammy-winning guitarist, producer. He discovered George Winston, the piano player, that's a very famous piano player, and
sure.
Michael Hedges, the guitar player, and came up through that whole era of instrumental music that was rather the undercurrent to popular music of the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Right.
And Will is now solely a record producer, and he's producing artists like Stanton Lanier and some great guys, maybe a half a dozen Grammy winners.
Is that right?
And in
Will Ackerman's
2004,
doing all that.
Yes,
Great.
and Will in 2004 won the Grammy for Best Acoustic Album.
Get down.
With his guitar stuff. And Will's producing my next record. And so I think I was talking to Will earlier about this very subject about writing music,
Right,
because he's
right.
writing a book, and we were comparing what it's like to write a book as compared to writing a song. Real interesting
And
conversation.
his was a little macro
He finds
to your
them
micro.
diametrically
Yeah, sure.
opposed.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
He said that he definitely has an end result for writing literary.
Right.
But when it comes to music, it's more like I do, and just find out at the end what it's like.
Listen up. That's
so it's
fantastic.
pretty fun stuff. And Will is doing a lot of placement with movies, TV, film stuff. And
Right.
so back to the subject. I really think we'll have a lot of fun in the next couple of years.
He should help open a lot of doors, get a lot of your stuff.
Yes,
of course,
yes,
so
I'm
many
really excited
musicians are
about it.
thrilled about their first, maybe their second album, or now CD that comes out. You're now working on, is it number 8?
Yeah,
That's insane.
Number 8. I am so pleased with the way the recordings are going. The Grand Strand area, we've been here. My wife Kimberly and I have been here for about 22 or 23 years.
Is that right? More than 2 decades.
Yes, and we're just hooked on the Grand Strand. And
Sure.
we love the community and have been involved in a number of different ways. And the CDs have been instrumental in several things. One, music was a big reason that Street Reach got started.
Right. Oh,
and,
yes.
And the Grand Strand has just embraced my CDs with such. It's just overwhelming sometimes.
It has been. That's
It's
right.
been overwhelming, and so I feel kind of an obligation to continue to keep making more of them, and if they'll keep getting it.
When did you do your first CD, Rocky?
My very first CD was Christmas Off the Streets, and it wasn't even a CD. It was a cassette tape.
Right.
In the very early 90s.
Okay, good. So
And
it's over the last
It was when
15
Street Reach
years
started.
or so. Yeah, okay,
It was when
sure,
Street Reach
yeah.
started, and in that first year, I got the idea. Well, it was a tough little ministry to fund. I didn't have lots of funding, and so I made the CD and sold it and put the money in the ministry. And so, actually, music was a driving factor to start that.
To help get Street Reach
get
going,
Street Reach
yes.
off the
And we want to share that with viewers and open the door for them to understand more and
Street
even
Reach
to
is amazing.
support Street Reach. If a viewer needs to get off to work, though, now, or to get family off
Right,
to school, what's the best place for someone to learn more about you if they can't sit here and catch the rest of the interview?
Just go to my website, rockyfretz.com.
Okay.
ROCKYFRETZ.
FRETZ, yes. A lot of folks have seen that name out in the community or seen you perform for the 17 years you were at the headline there, or one of the headliners there at
the
Carolina Opry. That's right, very popular location. And even more recently, Brook Green Gardens has been a great location, as well as so many other places you're playing.
I am so blessed to get to play at some of the greatest gigs. Brook Green Gardens has been an absolutely amazing venue, and has grown so much in that area. Everyone knows how beautiful it is, and how peaceful, and how awesome the artwork and the sculptures. But it's fast becoming, a premier place to see quality art.
and other
music
performers. We were down there filming at the Holiday House and had Bill Oberst with us, and Russell Holiday, and some others. Of course, the director there of the Brook Green Gardens, which was wonderful. Bob that's exactly right. Bob Jewell. It was wonderful getting down there. But you say that everyone knows about it. Everyone doesn't know about it, and that's exactly why they're having tremendous series like that to get more folks in to experience Brook Green Gardens for the first time.
Absolutely. Once you go once, you will go back. Just the magnificence of the garden and the overwhelming beauty is enough to warrant a visit. But there are a couple of times a year when they just take it over the top, and the Cool Summer Evenings concert series in June, July, and August is one of those times. I've been fortunate to be the headline act for both the Cool Summer Evenings series and the Nights of a Thousand Candles Christmas celebration for the past 3 years.
Wow.
And it's just, I was so amazed. This past Christmas, Nights of a Thousand Candles, the traffic to get in to the event was backed up from the gate of Brook Green Gardens to the past the Y at Merle's Inlet, maybe 3 miles.
I know.
2 or 3 miles.
Our producer's husband and I tried to go down there one night, and we turned around and went for sushi. It was it was nuts.
It's unbelievable. So it's a testament to just what can happen when you combine that kind of awesome beauty, that kind of spirit of celebration for one, and good music. It's just an amazing time. And the Cool Summer Evening series is very very interesting because it's outdoors. I set up I have a big 7.5-foot grand piano. Her name is Esmeralda.
Esmeralda, you travel together.
Yeah, we do. I spend as much time with her as I do anyone else. My wife is okay with
might
that.
Not like that.
She's okay. She knows all about her, and she's happy. She's happy with it. But Esmeralda and I will set up under an awning or something on a small stage, and then everyone just sits in the grass. They bring their lawn chairs and a pallet, and eat, and it just covers the lawn with people. And often since there's so many plants and beautiful flowers and things there's lots of singing insects. And I can remember one last year where the cicadas or whatever were happening that time were making so much noise that it was difficult to hear the music. And so it was a quiet time during this song, and I could hear them. They were just, it was a cacophony of sound. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I just faded the music out and let them sing, and then brought it back in after a few seconds. Like we just used the whole area to enhance the musical or the artistic experience.
I hope someone got that on camera.
You really gotta go out there and experience
tape,
that. Don't miss the opportunity to do that. Both those series are amazing.
And the series is on your website at rockyfretz.com. Someone could go to brookgreen.org and check that out as well. But rockyfretz.com has page after page of the places you're playing, the locations you're constantly doing gigs, or as well as not only the Cool Summer Evenings, but also the Nights of a Thousand Candles, and that is another. I mean, it's just indescribable.
It really is. They seriously, actually light more than 1,000 candles and line the walkways, line the roads. It's just beautiful.
What prompted you to found the Street Reach Ministry, Rocky?
Great question. Life's funny. Let me say that many of the challenges that the guys and ladies that find their way to the mission, to Street Reach Mission, other than homelessness, I shared some of those challenges. I've been fortunate that I'm always managed to keep a roof over my head, but many of the addiction challenges and things of that nature really had me in a bind. And with a lot of help from people that love me, and I managed to let go of those addictions and let go of that situation. And when I came out the other side, I knew that the God that had helped me could definitely do it for anybody else if he could do it for me, because it wasn't all that good a situation. And so I just kind of, in my own way, I prayed, what can I do? You show me something to do, and I'll do it. Let me give back. Let me try to help. And about less than a week later, I had a small nap in the afternoon before the show, and I woke up with the name Street Reach on my mind. And as was often the case, I went to the K&W for dinner. And,
yeah, you and me both. Yeah.
Well, man, you can't beat it. And I took a notebook and a pencil, and I got in line at the K&W. And we're going through there, you're walking past the fruit and stuff and I write Street Reach at the top, and I start writing what it's going to be, or what I'd like to be. And those guys knew me really well there because I visited often.
Yeah, this must have been the 20th Avenue South location.
Actually, it may have been part of
the Merle's wasn't open.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I get to the end of the line, and I have no tray, no silverware, no food.
Oh, you're
I've
kidding.
been writing the whole time.
Sure. No way.
The girl at the end, I think her name was Sarah, she said, "Rocky, you're not very hungry today, are you?" And I looked down, and I had nothing. But basically, the whole thing.
You laid out
it was a
Street Reach
mission
right there.
I wanted drug addiction to be, a facility to put people onto other facilities, kind of coordinate the efforts. And it really wasn't a homeless shelter in its inception.
Right.
And so after I got done writing it, I was downtown a few days later and noticed that what had formerly been McFadden's Music was empty. The building was empty. They had moved to a new building.
Right.
I looked at it. I thought, well, this is a great place to do something. And up until that point, the only thing I'd really done is we would bag up a bunch of groceries, put them in a truck, take a generator and a small PA system, and go find a low-income neighborhood, maybe apartment complex, set up out on the tennis court, or what used to be a tennis court, or a basketball court outside, start playing music, draw a crowd. They'd come see what was up, pass out all the groceries, and share the gospel.
That's
and
tremendous.
that's kind of...
I mean, that was a great first way.
It was a great way to get started. And I thought, well, this is fun. But I had a garage full of bagged groceries, and it was, I would drive into some of the more, some of the areas of town where a lot of the guys were hanging, and just take my truck and say, look, I got this building. I don't have much there. You want a cup of coffee? Get in a truck. Let's go over here and talk about what's up, And it was just like that. And then suddenly... I remember one of the guys said, "Rocky, we really appreciate a cup of coffee. We really appreciate the love and a place to get out of the heat or get out of the cold. But what about a place to stay?" And I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, there's a lot of homeless people here." And I said, "Where?" I didn't know, like most people, that we even had a homeless pop. And they took me on a little tour. Back then, there were a lot more woods around. And I visited for several hours. Many cardboard boxes.
Rocky.
And they took me to places where nobody really gets to go very often. And it was very transient places. It'd be like a little cardboard community that would move from one set of woods to another. I think the thing that really turned it for me was one of the guys showed up for his cup of coffee one day with a broken arm. And I asked him what happened, and he said he fell asleep in the dumpster and got dumped out of it. And it broke his arm. And I said, well, all right, let me see what I can do about this. And so I went next door to the courthouse. And I said, I'd like to sleep people in that building. How about that? And they said, no, well, Rocky, it's got to be zoned the right way, da-da-da-da. Let me get back to you. The next day, the lady calls me and says, you're not going to believe this, but that place is actually zoned exactly for that.
Wow.
There was upstairs apartments that we didn't even give any consideration really to, but it put us in the zone. And so I said, all right, I want to do it. And so we started taking people in and beds and getting stuff together.
Does someone own the building? I mean, how did you...
I went to her. This is amazing. I went to her. I said, your building's a mess, because it was. It was just a mess. I mean, the ceiling was all falling out, wiring, paint. It was just a mess. And I said, it's a mess. Give it to me for 3 months for free, and I'll straighten it up. And if I can't start making a lease payment after that, you can have it back, and it'll be in twice the condition that it is now.
Right.
And she went for it.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And to that building, we were in for a long, long time, maybe 5 or more years. And then they moved over to the building they're in now.
Right.
A little better, a little bigger,
a
little easier. But now they just broke ground on
That's
the big,
right.
on the
That's right.
finally on the.
You got to be thrilled.
Oh, it's just amazing. I'm really proud. I think it just kind of shows what you can do with just a little.
So you and Kimberly were putting together, or you were really helping launch a Street Reach back. This was
actually I did it by myself.
Yeah.
Jimmy Morris pretty well-known evangelist from around here that does a ton of work in Romania. He spends a lot of time in Romania on mission work. Jimmy was around, and basically it was just a couple of us, and mostly just me.
But you were doing this while you were making, we've only got a few minutes, so that's why I want to make sure we knock out some of these other tremendous things. But you were doing this while you were headlining there at Carolina Opry and doing so much. How did you do it all?
I would get up in the morning, go to the mission, spend the day in the mission doing whatever I could, whatever we needed to be done, go to rehearsal or work at the Opry, and then come back, and many nights I stayed there. First security, we had how to keep it secure and safe and all that. Well, the only way I knew was for me to be there. And eventually, when we proved ourselves as a worthwhile ministry, that could actually make a difference, eventually people came on board.
That's tremendous. Golly, Rocky.
Isn't it neat?
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
It's a great time to be
was
at the
with us a couple of weeks ago at South Carolina Bank and Trust down in Myrtle's Inlet. She was filming with us and hearing her talk about the excitement to see, and of course herself, who hit such a tough point when her parents left and left her stranded. It was terrible.
She can relate. Libby can relate. I met Libby online. Did she mention that?
She did. She shared with us the story about how you
all
met.
Early online things. She had lost her son, and I had the opportunity to just try to minister to her. So and then she moved out here and has just been an angel.
She's done an amazing job. Yeah, really has. We got 3 minutes, Rocky.
Awesome.
Folks are thinking about where can I get Rocky? I saw him for 17 years. I came out to Carolina Opry annually or every other week or quarterly. Where can I find him now? I mean, they can surely go online, see the schedule for performances at RockyFretz.com. But are there any other places they can see you now?
There is. We started the Carolina Opry May 2nd, 1986. I retired in 2003, but it's the 20th anniversary of the Opry. And so in celebration of that, for the last few months and for the next couple of months, I actually play a 45-minute pre-show concert in the lobby of the Carolina Opry.
In the lobby.
In celebration of the 20th anniversary. I'm not in the show, but I play in the lobby for 45 minutes before most every show, unless I'm at another concert.
Sure.
And that's a great place to get a little dash of me and the big show. And then, of course, Brook Green Gardens and whatever else is listed on my calendar.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot on there. Brook Green, that kickoff is June 22nd for the Cool Summer Evenings concert.
Yes, that'll be fun. That's probably one of the best times to come. It's one of the best times.
That is. So if a viewer wanted to come see you, they need to, a lot of folks can just pop by then the Carolina Opry
you
before
make your
a
plans.
show.
If you want to see me, and you intend to go to the Opry anyway, or Good Vibrations, their other show, just look on my website at the calendar, and you'll see that I keep it which nights I'm going to be there. And that's most of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really enjoy that. It's a lot of fun. I'm all by myself. It's kind of like close hand magic. Instead of a big, a magic show, it's like you're right there next to me and you get to see it all happen.
How exciting! Do you have a favorite song, Rocky? Anything that you love to perform, or is it?
Phantom of the Opera holds a dear place in my heart because we produce that so many different great ways, and every time I get to play it, it brings back all the memories of the many, thankfully, very many standing ovations that the piece happened, and so I still get a kick out of playing that piece, even solo. It's much more. It's fun.
Rocky, I think I saw you. There's a desire to get on Oprah. What could viewers do now to help make that happen? We just got a second.
Just Oprah's website is very accessible. Just go to Oprah.com and go. Maybe sign up for her inspirational things that they send to your mailbox and stuff. And there's a place to submit. What you want to say.
Who's a good one to get on air? That's right.
And so just tell them you want Rocky to be on Oprah. I just want to play for her.
I love it.
I really want to play for her.
She would dig that. That'd be nuts.
Else. I just really like her show, and I like her contribution to everything. And I'd like to support that school that she has opened in South Africa.
That's right.
And so I just want to be up in all of it. I want music. I want people to understand how powerful a tool music is, not to leave it out of their daily lives. And so if I can get out there and play for people and spread that inspirational message, that's what I want to do.
Those are great words, Rocky. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Absolutely.
Bless your heart.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Rocky Fretz coming up next. I love that Bill Oberst quote, Rocky never takes from an audience, he gives. That's why they love him so much. Rocky never takes from an audience. He really gives. He's making a difference. He's given. I can't remember the last time I had a guest on that talked comfortably about his wife and knowing about his paramour and feeling comfortable with it. Hearing him talk about Esmeralda, his 7.5-foot baby grand, and knowing that his wife Kimberly's comfortable with her, it's a great thing. Hearing him talk about that, it's amazing. You know, when you think about a performer in his or her life and the differences they're making. Rocky made an effort to make a difference. He found out there was a real need. There was a recognition of both folks who had crippling disabilities because they were crippled with addictions, but he also recognized a need to fill the homeless gap. Founding Street Reach, making a difference in every day, and now amazing folks like Libby Faulkner and otherwise taking the baton and carrying it forward. Rocky's still behind the scenes making a difference. You can check him out online at rockyfretz.com. That's Rocky, Fretz.com. Go there. Look at the amazing schedule of performances coming up at Brook Green Gardens, or, of course, you can get out to Carolina Opry and see him there in the lobby performing. Maybe not with Esmeralda, but you can track him down with Esmeralda another time. Take a look at his website.